simple fifth-grade version. For a long time, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban looked like the perfect couple. She was a famous actress, and he was a country music singer. They met in 2005 and fell in love very fast. Keith would send her poems and gifts. They got married in 2006 in Australia. Everyone thought they were so happy together. Nicole called Keith her rock. Keith said she helped him stay calm. They went to fancy events and looked perfect together, but things weren't as good as they looked. Nicole was always traveling for movies. Keith was always on tour singing. They started spending less time together. They missed phone calls and couldn't talk much. Soon, they felt far apart even when they were close. People started whispering that Keith was having problems. He was struggling with old bad habits. Nicole stayed quiet and tried to be patient. She told people, marriage needs love and patience. But her eyes looked tired and sad. In 2023, they stopped appearing together. Fans noticed they didn't hold hands anymore. Nicole went to events alone. Keith didn't talk about his wife in interviews. Soon, everyone found out they were getting divorced. The announcement was short and polite, but then Nicole decided to tell her story. In an emotional interview, she opened up. She said, "Sometimes you fight for something that's already gone. I thought love could fix everything, but it can't fix someone who won't be honest." Her words shocked everyone. Fans felt sad for her. Many people realized Nicole had been protecting Keith for years while she was hurting inside. People started learning more about what happened. Keith had been struggling with personal problems for years. He couldn't stop his bad habits. Nicole tried to help him for a long time, but he didn't want help. Nicole said, "When you love someone who is fighting with themselves, you get hurt too. I stopped recognizing the person I married." These words touched many hearts. Nicole admitted her biggest mistake was losing herself while trying to fix Keith. She spent nights alone, worrying and crying. Even though she was famous and beautiful, she felt lonely and trapped. Their friends knew the marriage was breaking apart before the world did. One friend said, Keith loved her, but he couldn't handle being Nicole's husband. That pressure destroyed him. After the divorce, Keith tried to stay quiet. He wrote sad songs with messages for Nicole. One song said, "I broke the wings of the only angel who believed I could fly." Fans felt sad, but many thought it was too late. Nicole started feeling free. She focused on her children and her work. Most importantly, she focused on herself. At her next movie event, she wore a beautiful white dress and smiled with real happiness. She looked amazing because she had found herself again. When someone asked if she still loved Keith, she paused. Then she said softly, "Love doesn't just disappear. But sometimes you have to love someone from far away to keep yourself safe." People cheered for her honesty. Nicole wasn't just a famous actress anymore. She became a symbol of strength. She showed that being strong sometimes means walking away. Keith struggled after the divorce. He went to therapy and tried to get better. He never responded to Nicole's words publicly. His silence said a lot. The charming singer who once filled stadiums was now facing the results of his choices. Both of them were hurt by fame. Hollywood told the world their love was perfect, but real life was different. Even now, people still talk about them. Nicole gave everything she could. She stood by Keith when no one else did. She helped him through rehab and defended him. When she finally left, it wasn't because she was angry. She was just exhausted. In her interview, Nicole said something important. "You can't heal someone who won't face the truth. Telling the truth isn't revenge, it's freedom." That line was shared everywhere online. Nicole didn't just expose Keith. She told the truth about love, sacrifice, and keeping secrets. As time passed, one thing became clear. She wasn't broken. She was finally free. Years later, Keith stayed out of the spotlight. He lived quietly between Los Angeles and Nashville. Friends said he hit rock bottom. Without Nicole, he felt lost. He spent nights alone in his music studio, writing songs about his mistakes. One leaked song said, "You can fake a smile for the crowd, but you can't lie to the mirror." Keith started going to therapy regularly. He tried to reconnect with old friends, but Nicole never looked back. She had made her decision with self-respect. Keith released a song called "The Woman I Lost." It was just him and his guitar, and his voice shook with emotion. Everyone knew the song was about Nicole. The lyrics said, "She gave me light when I lived in shadows, held my hand when I couldn't stand. But love can't last if the truth is hidden, and I broke her heart with my own hands." Fans felt sore. Why for him? Some called it Keith's apology. Others said it was too late. Keith finally admitted, "I was selfish. I loved her, but I didn't know how to love myself back then." He started doing small concerts with no big lights or shows, just him and his guitar. During one show, someone yelled, "We still love you, Keith." He paused and smiled sadly. "Then learn from me. Don't wait until it's gone to be grateful." Meanwhile, Nicole was doing great. She made new movies and helped women in bad relationships. She said, "If my story can help one woman leave a toxic relationship, it was worth it." Nicole never said mean things about Keith again. Her silence wasn't anger, it was peace. She had told her truth, and that set her free. Years later, someone asked if she would ever work with Keith again. Nicole smiled and said, "Life is unpredictable, but some doors, once closed, should stay that way." The lesson. Their story teaches us that even the brightest love can fade when honesty is lost. Healing doesn't always mean getting back together. Sometimes it means walking away with respect. Keith's downfall was quiet. It was the sound of a man realizing too late that fame and love need truth. Nicole's story wasn't about revenge, it was about freedom. Both continued on separate paths, and the world watched quietly. Behind every glamorous love story, there's a shadow, and their shadow finally told the truth. Moving forward. Years passed, the media found new stories, but Nicole and Keith both changed forever. Keith started over. He performed in small venues, singing from his heart. His voice now carried real emotion. One night, he told the audience, "Sometimes you destroy something beautiful because you don't know how to love it yet." His new song, "Grace and Goodbye," was honest and raw. Critics loved it. Nicole entered the most powerful time of her life. She wasn't trying to prove anything anymore. She looked confident and strong. In interviews, she said, "Healing doesn't mean pretending it never hurt. It means choosing to grow from the pain." Her words inspired millions of people going through heartbreak. Nicole focused on her children and charity work. She helped women recovering from abuse. She said, "No one should feel they have to save someone to be worthy of love." Keith did something similar. He mentored young musicians struggling with addiction. He told them, "Success means nothing if you lose your soul." Eventually, they met again at a charity event in Los Angeles. It wasn't dramatic. Nicole walked up to Keith, smiled, and said, "It's good to see you doing well." Keith, with tears in his eyes, replied, "Thank you." There were no cameras, no reporters, just two people who had made peace with their past. Tabloids wondered if they were getting back together, but the truth was simpler. They had forgiven each other. Keith later said, "Sometimes closure doesn't come from words. It comes when you realize the person you hurt has forgiven you, and you've finally forgiven yourself." Nicole said in an interview, "He was a painful chapter in my story. But without it, I wouldn't be who I am today." Their legacy. Their story became a lesson for people around the world. It was about love, mistakes, and redemption. Keith's later songs were more honest. He said, "I stopped chasing hits. Now I just write what's true." Nicole encouraged women to speak their truth. She often said, "You don't have to burn in someone else's chaos to prove your loyalty." When asked what she would tell her younger self, Nicole smiled, "You did your best, now let go." The real ending. In the end, their story wasn't about divorce or blame. It was about truth. It was about a woman who refused to live in someone's shadow and a man who learned that redemption starts when denial ends. Both found what they were searching for: peace, purpose, and freedom. And the world learned something important. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is tell the truth and walk away. By her 70s, Nicole had become more than a headline. She was her own story, a story of survival and grace. She won roles playing complex women just like her. Her foundation helped women heal from trauma. Each center had a sign that said, "Truth heals." Nicole's life became quieter and richer. She learned to garden, paint, and enjoy silence. Her friends said she laughed more easily now. Keith stayed sober and wrote humble music. His album, Second Chance Sky, was praised as honest and real. When asked if his songs were about Nicole, Keith smiled. Every song is about her in some way, but she doesn't need to hear it. The world already did. When Nicole heard about his album, she said warmly, "I'm proud he found his light. That's all I ever wanted for him." The media found no drama, just two grown people who chose compassion. Final thoughts. By 2030, Nicole's legacy was huge. Universities taught about her story. Activists quoted her speeches. She had become proof that vulnerability and power can exist together. When asked what happiness meant now, Nicole answered, "Peace, not the absence of noise, but the presence of self." Asked if she regretted her marriage, Nicole smiled. "No regrets. I learned to love better and to love myself most of all." Her story, once gossip, became a timeless lesson about strength. Even after the most painful goodbye, there is always a way to rise again. The greatest lesson. The greatest love story isn't about two people who stay together. It's about two souls who forgive each other and keep shining anyway.